So good afternoon. Thank you very much for coming. I know everyone's schedule is very busy this time of year. This is our last bite of learning for the fall semester, and we have Jay Pope Park, who's our scientific computing specialist in CIS, and is going to tell us about EXCEED, Extreme Science and Engineering Discovery Environment. Thanks, Jay Pope.
Thank you. All right, welcome to Bite of Learning today. We have a good turnout today, but I'm so happy that I can introduce you the EXCEED. Well, actually, this is the first official introduction of EXCEED at the Claremont colleges. So I already introduced it to Harvey Mudd colleges, but it's now a Bite of Learning series. So today, I'm going to talk about EXCEED and Campus Champion and available resources for you and how to get started and how can you get help. Now we'll give some brief demo of this EXCEED resource use and Q&A. So what is EXCEED? EXCEED is a comprehensive set of advanced heterogeneous high-end digital services integrated into a general-purpose cyber infrastructure. It's probably the most advanced cyber infrastructure in the United States. So EXCEED is meant to have everything you need for your science done. So before we go further, cyber infrastructure. What is cyber infrastructure? Have you heard about it? Well, it's like a coined word, but it means this. CI, cyber infrastructure, is the coordinated aggregate of software, hardware, and other resources, technologies, as well as human expertise that requires to support current and future discoveries in science and engineering. So, and EXCEED, best of all, you have everything free. So, now let me briefly go over the simple statistics that shows the usage of EXCEED. If you see this column, the usage of the EXCEED resources, and the first column is the number of PIs and the percentage of the PIs per different research area. So you have molecular, biosciences, physics, astronomical sciences, atmospheric sciences will need lots of computing power too, and chemistry and biology. And interestingly, what I see here is PIs, the percentage of the PIs for physics is only 5%, and their usage is like 20% in EXCEED. Anyway, and upper here, your upper right corner, those are the number of users. It adds up to like 6,000 users on the EXCEED system.
Jay, what does
Yes.
NUs mean?
You got me. I thought it's SU. SU is a service unit, and NU is kind of like that. So I didn't actually look for the actual meaning. But SU is service unit. One service unit means one core hour. 1 hour running on one core in the system. So what is EXCEED and what is Campus Champion program? Well, before we go to there, actually Campus Champions are the local resource for you, actually local expertise for you to use the EXCEED for you when you have your campus champions on your local campus. they can help you to try out the Exceed resources or help you to apply for the Exceed resources. So a little bit of history. It launched in 2007. Actually, Exceed project started in 2011. And before that, there was TerraGrid project. So it started in TerraGrid project. And Kay Hunt, the lady, she's energetic lady coordinating all the program for Campus Champions. And we have 130 member campuses, more than 130 campuses today. So, Exceed provides Campus Champions with these. So, Campus Champions get support from the Exceed staff across the Exceed resources. And they provide updates, monthly updates of the UCGs, and sometimes they provide trainings, especially for Campus Champions. And also, Campus Champions are provided with startup account. Not only, it's just not just regular startup account. It has, I'm the Campus Champion of Harvey Mudd College, and I could get 900,000 SUs from Exceed. Usual startup account only can get 200,000 from a limited number of resources. So we have that many SUs, service units. And also we have forums to share the feedback and training resources and so on. So what is the role of the Campus Champion? Raise awareness locally. That's what I'm doing now. And Campus Champion provides training. And Campus Champions help users so that the users can get the resources quickly and get started with the resources. And we represent the local community so that we can give the Exceed staff some feedback and suggestions and so on. All right? So, Campus Champion institutions. Now we have more than 130 institutions all over the United States. So there's one missing star. There you go. That's Harvey Mudd. So we have only 5 Campus Champions in California, but it's growing. So what kind of resources are available for you from Exceed? This is a brief introduction of these resource categories. First 3 bullets is for compute resources, HPC, high performance computing, HTC, high throughput computing, and visualizations using GPUs and applications. And you can get storage too from Exceed, like tape storage, lots of storages from them. And you have given software, like you're given free software even though you need to buy otherwise, like Gaussian, for example. If it is installed, you can use it without paying anything. And MATLAB too. And the last 2 bullets are the human resources, human expertise, especially for Exceed and for the research allocations. There is a support service called Extended Collaborative Support Service. It's advanced user support. So when you need them, when you need the support for your specific application, your scientific application, they will assign 1 or 2 staff members who are have the expertise in that area, so that you can work with them to get more help to use your application, to run your application more efficiently, and so on. And Campus Champion, that's me. So they have the website www.xsede.org. When you go to that website, you can find all the resources they provide. And I'm going to introduce you some subset of the resources that are available. Three major types of high-performance computing resources are available. SMP, Symmetric Multiprocessing Resources Systems. That's for shared memory processing. So they have a big chunk of shared memory for your application. And MPP, Massively Parallel Processors, have thousands of processors connected with the special types of interconnections. And cluster, the usual clusters with a node. So this is the map of the resources in the United States. We have, XSEDE has 17 supercomputing center and institutions in the United States, actually 16 in the United States and 1 in Germany. So let's see. The black light in Pittsburgh Supercomputing Center is SMP system, Symmetric Multiprocessing System. It has large memory, 32 bytes of memory. Well, it's actually 2 sets in 16 terabytes. So you can request up to 16 terabytes of memory for your application. That's huge. And NICS, National Institute for Computational Science, has Kraken. It's massively multiprocessor, has 112,000 processors, and it's intended for highly scalable applications. That means scalability of your application. Like if you have a application like massively parallel processing application, like Monte Carlo method, so that you add more processors and you finish your job according to that, linearly speeding up your application. So that's the scalability of your application. And it's MMP system, and there's cluster system in Purdue still. It has 7,144 processors, and especially these resources for long-running applications, up to 720 hours. So if you have a long-running application, you can apply for the resources from Purdue. Also, TAC, Texas Advanced Computing Center, has Lone Star. This one especially has HTC capability. For HTC, high throughput computing is different from HPC. For HPC, you care about how fast your application can finish. But HTC, you care about how many jobs can you run for a long time, like days and weeks and months. So for that, you need the system needs to have a cycle scavenging capability. Also, checkpointing, so that you can go back when one of the processes the resource is not available for that time. Also, it needs to have blocking, so that your process, at some time, the system can move your process to another process, and so on. And it has a visualization capabilities. That means it has application, visualization application with the GPUs. Okay, our neighbor, UC San Diego and San Diego Supercomputing Center, they have a special types of resource called Gordon. It's flash-based file system. So the I/O is extremely fast for the parallel I/Os. And so it's designed for data-intensive applications with large data, and if you need a very fast I/O, you can apply for it. Also, Gordon has Trestles. It's another cluster. This one also has SSD flash memory, 38 terabytes. And also, if you need a fast local I/O requirements, you can use that, and so on. So, and also this one, the NCSA Forge. Especially this one has the GPGPU capability, and each node has 8-core CPU with 8 NVIDIA Fermi GPUs. So you're talking about thousands of cores per one node for your application. So high throughput computing, Condor. Let me skip through this. Visualization resources. Has several visualization resources. Also, you can have storage resource. This one is a little bit tricky because Exceed resources are project-based. So it has limited years for you to use the resources. So for startup allocation, you have 1 year to use the resources. After that, you're going to move on to research allocation. So you can apply for larger, bigger resources from Exceed. And what software is available? It has a web search page, web page to show you comprehensive software search feature. Actually, I'm going to show you this later. And if you have a license for your application, you can make it run. And that will install the application for you. And it will only be available for you with Linux's group feature. And if you don't see the application that you need on Exceed currently, you can request that application to be installed on certain resources. So send a help at exceed.org to send a request. So how can I get started? How can you get started? So there are 3 types of allocations: startup, education, and research. Startup, it has fast approval time. You only needs 2 weeks, then you're going to get the resources. So it only needs your CV and abstract of your research. So, and you can apply a request up to 200,000 core hours for 1 year. Once the 1 year is done, or used up your resources. Actually, once you used up your resources within that time period, you can request more resources from Exceed. Or if the 1 year time has passed, then there's resources left, then it's gone. And if you have multiple research, so you can apply for one research and another research. So you can be a PI of a couple of different startup allocations. And education allocation, this is new. Well, you can request for your class and let them know when the class starts and when the class ends, then what you need for your class. And research, well, once you use up your 1 year startup allocation, you have two options. Either you go for another research, or you go for the research allocation. Research allocation, it has quarterly review, peer review, and it's more serious type of allocation. So you can request large amount of SUs with multiple year projects. And since you have Campus Champions allocations, the use of the Campus Champions allocations is that you can test your application before you apply for any types of Exceed allocation. So you're not sure whether your application runs well or not on certain resources. You can test your applications before you apply. And how can you get started? You contact CC, which is me, and let me know what you want to do on Exceed. So we're going to discuss what you need and what's available. And then you will create an Exceed portal account so that I can add your account to one or two or several resources I have. And you're going to test your application on it. And I will help you to test it, compile it, or they can help you to install certain software or something like that. And then once the process is done and you're good to go to apply for a startup allocation, you're going to go for it. Those stars, well, they are optional because you can just apply for your startup allocation without me. But I'm here to help you to get through that. And you can email me, helpdesk@hmc.edu, or you can email help@exceed.org. So I'm going to show you some websites. All right, this is the Exceed website, exceed.org website, and when you go to sign in page, to create a portal account, you go to create account. It's very simple page. They don't need a lot of information from you. So just your name, organization, degree, position, and so on. And you submit it. Then it will be approved within like 2 days, usually 2-3 days. And let me sign in for you. So I have the portal account here. So I'm going to sign in. Right, well, you notice this header is changed. So you have, because I'm Campus Champions, I have this menu, but you don't have this menu if you're not Campus Champion. So X up, Exceed User Portal account. So if you go to X up, that's profile. That's Psy, Gangnam Style. And as you see here, I have the resources here available for me. Blacklight, Condor, Gordon, and so on, up to Trestles. So I have 900,000 resources as SUs. I only use 1% of Blacklight SU so far. So I'm testing out MATLAB on Blacklight, and it doesn't require that much resources. So, when you go to resources and go to software, you can look for your required software. For example, like Gaussian. Oh, I'm sorry. You need Gaussian 09. It will give you the resource name. This is SDSC's Trestles. They have this Gaussian installed and so on. MATLAB. Kinland and Nautilus have it. Actually, MATLAB, many resources have MATLAB installed, but it doesn't show here. I don't know why. But anyway, also the good feature of Exceed Portal is this SSH terminal. To connect to any resource on Exceed, you need to have a terminal with SSH. And you don't have to run your own terminal. The good thing is that they really try to make it simple to use. So you don't need to remember different account, different password for different allocations. You only need to remember the portal account name and password. So once you log into the portal, it will just simple to open up one of the resources and connect to the resources. This is Java-based applet. So I chose Trestles, and it let me log into the Trestle without giving the password and username. Different allocations have different username and password, but I don't have to worry about it. So I logged in. Well, usual topology of the resources are this. When you log into the login nodes. And usually from the login nodes, you can run anything. You cannot run anything. You can compile your source, but to run anything, you need to submit your job to the queues. The queues will submit the queuing system will find the resources that you request and allocate your job to those resources. So this is the login node of Trestles. So I'm going to go to request a interactive session for with here one node having 8 cores, with 10 minutes of work time for my interactive application. So this -I means interactive. QSub is the command that you request the queue. So I just requested one queue, one allocation, one node allocation with 10 minutes. There we go. So I'm in Trestles 5-5-23. Trestles, as I showed you, Trestles has Gaussian 09. So I tested Gaussian for one of our faculty member. So you're going to run, you want to run, this is a specific example though, but I want to run Gaussian, and you will need to load Gaussian module. All the applications are modularized, so you can see what's available now. You have GNU compiler and OpenMPI library available. I want to have Gaussian module available to me. So I just loaded Gaussian. So there you go. You have Gaussian module available. Now I can run Gaussian. So G09 is the code Gaussian application. Methane.com is the input, and methane.log is the output. So it's done. That's the output of the Gaussian run. So this is typical way, although this is interactive part of the use, but you can also submit your job, specify your application, and specify your input files, and submit your job with a certain number of cores and time. Okay? Any questions so far? No? Right. So far, I have two faculty members, one from math, one from chemistry, and I have 3 students working with them on this Exceed resources for Campus Champions resources. And well, I guess that's all I have for now. And any questions? Yes.
What kind of things are those people doing, the students?
Yeah, the research projects, they need MATLAB. We have a parallel toolbox, but it only allows you to 8 workers, only 8 workers. But the Exceed has distributed computing toolbox, which you can run up to 32 workers using MATLAB. There's special setup and special permission to run MATLAB. I went through all the steps to run the MATLAB distributed computing toolbox with my own interface, and it went well. So I'm going to meet with them, math professor and one students, to train them to use that. And that will test the resources. And another one is the Gaussian project. So,
when you submitted a job to the queue, you had to specify like an amount of time. Do you always have to do that?
yes. If you don't specify the time, they will give you default time. So you don't know what it.
Let's say your program is running and you approach that time limit. Will it automatically extend it if you have something running, or will it just cut it short?
No. When the time is up, your process will be kicked out. So
Is there a limit on how much you can request?
there's a limit per. They have different limits per different resources. So we need to figure out. For example, one of the resources has 720 hours work time limit. So it's huge.
Are there ways to checkpoint? So
It-
you can just pick up the application and keep on going later at another submission?
Well, if, like, for example, Condor HTC system, they have checkpoint capability. So the system itself has the checkpointing capability. So later you can.
But not the others?
If it is not HTC, high throughput computing resource, no. You, I don't know. It's up to you. You can. I don't know if you can make the checkpoint for your. Well, you can make a checkpoint for your own application. Save the data for a
Right, but then
certain.
you have to code that special for your application. The nice thing about the other parts is it just saves the whole image, basically.
Right. The Condor pool, they do that. Save the image of your application.
Did you get charged for 10 minutes or just for the time you actually used?
No, I can use the system for 10 minutes without anything. So, yeah, it's gonna be used from. I'm gonna use my allocations for the 10 minutes. If I requested 8 cores, 10 minutes, so 8 times 10 minutes. It's the time I use. It's charged. Yeah, even though it was test.
But that's in part because you did an interactive session, right?
Right. There's two kinds of interactive sessions. One is shared, one is dedicated. Actually, I requested shared. If I don't use up the 10 minutes, they're not charge me the 10 minutes times 8. But if it is dedicated resource, they will charge the 10 minutes times 8 whether or not I use it or not. It's dedicated, so.
If someone from one of the other Claremont colleges wanted to introduce this to come to you, would that be okay with
Yeah, that's a good question, actually. It's up to you and you, because they're asking me to.
It's your time, but
Yeah.
Exceed be okay with it?
Exceed will be okay. They're looking for, they like that way because it's called local campus champions. So.
Well, that just leads to my question. As somebody at Keck Science who uses Gaussian, I could imagine wanting to get one of their startup accounts. And so would it be appropriate for me to come talk to you about that a little bit? I know I can just go at it my own, but
Yeah, well, actually, currently, when I signed up for the Campus Champions, it was dedicated to Harvey Mudd College. But
maybe that's something everybody needs to work out here, and then
I would say, why not?
Then, yeah.
Call it a sign service if we wanted to, and then offer it to all of the colleges. But certainly, as people come in the door, assuming Jacob has time.
Yeah.
yeah, if that's the possibility, then we can extend our Harvey Mudd Campus Champion to be a local campus champions and so on. It depends on the time I have.
Yeah, we don't want you to have another staff member somewhere else who has to learn everything that he learned and basically doing the same thing.
No, not for that small, I'm likely to be the
Right.
the one person, or if there were two, that would be at the limit,
Yeah.
so. And I've used some of the other supercomputing resources before, so it's not completely unfamiliar, but I haven't used the Exceed program, so it looks like it's even just that much easier to get going.
You will have to submit a queue request to Jacob to get his resources, and he charges you.
Oh, I see.
Any other questions? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.